From the sodden fields of Normandy to the sun-blasted sands of North Africa, British armored and support vehicles were central to the conduct of World War II. In this video, we'll examine every important British vehicle that served in the conflict, from tanks and self-propelled guns to armored cars, carriers, trucks, and even motorcycles. We'll keep the same order and detail, restating everything with fresh wording. Subscribe for more WWII vehicle deep dives. We start with tanks. Light tank MKVI, the early war backbone. The MKVI was the main light tank for Britain at the outset of the war, though it proved hopelessly inadequate against German armor during the 1940 campaign in France. It was relatively fast and often employed for reconnaissance tasks. Light tank Mk7 Tetrarch, a curious little design. The Tetrarch used an unusual steering arrangement and is most notable for being air-portable. It saw action with airborne formations during the D-Day operations. Infantry tank Mki Matilda I, basic but protected. The Matilda I was heavily armored for its era, but carried only a machine gun, reflecting pre-war thinking. Tough but slow and lightly armed. Infantry tank Mk2 Matilda II, the Desert Queen. The Matilda II became infamous in North Africa for its heavy protection that shrugged off many Italian and early German anti-tank weapons, making it a formidable obstacle for Axis forces. Valentine, all marks, including Valentine MKXI, the dependable infantry tank. The Valentine series proved extremely versatile and famously reliable, produced in huge numbers and used as the basis for several self-propelled gun conversions. Churchill, all marks, including Churchill NA-75, a heavily armored stalwart. The Churchill was beloved by crews for its exceptional cross-country mobility and heavy protection. Variants such as the Mk7 ranked among the most robust Allied tanks fielded during the war. Cruiser MKIV, A-13 Mk2, Christie sprung speed. This A-13 variant introduced the Christie suspension to British service, giving it a notable speed advantage and making it a common performer in early engagements in France and North Africa. Cruiser MKVI Crusader, the Desert War's workhorse. The Crusader was the quintessential British cruiser tank during the height of operations in the desert. Fast and widely manufactured, though it suffered from chronic mechanical reliability problems. Cromwell, a significant advance. Cromwell marked a major leap in British tank design, combining velocity, dependability, and power. It was the first British tank to use the excellent Rolls-Royce Meteor engine and became a true all-rounder. Comet, the pinnacle cruiser. Arriving late but impressive, the Comet is often regarded as the finest British cruiser tank of the war, equipped with a high-velocity 77mm gun and offering outstanding overall performance. Sherman Firefly, the 17-pounder conversion. To answer the threat of heavy German tanks like the Panther, British engineers fitted the potent 17-pounder gun into Shermans, creating the Firefly, one of the most feared Allied tank killers on the battlefield. Next are self-propelled guns and tank hunters. Bishop, 25 PDR on Valentine. An early British attempt at mobile artillery, the Bishop mounted the 25-pounder field gun on a Valentine hull. Its very tall mounting limited elevation, and it was largely withdrawn after the North African campaign. Deacon, 6 PDR on truck. The Deacon solved mobility problems for anti-tank guns in the desert by mounting a 6-pounder on an armored E-100 truck chassis, offering a mobile punch against enemy reconnaissance and light armored vehicles. Archer, 17 PDR on Valentine, clever rearward mount. The Archer carried the powerful 17-pounder facing to the rear on a Valentine chassis, enabling a shoot and scoot tactic where the crew could fire then quickly reverse to cover. Churchill gun carrier, 3-inch SPG. Built primarily for home defense, this heavy self-propelled gun carried a strong 3-inch weapon. Only a small number were produced, and its role diminished once invasion fears subsided. Armored cars and scout vehicles follow. Daimler armored car, high esteem. Widely regarded as one of the best Allied armored cars, the Daimler combined speed, good protection, and a potent 2-pounder gun, making it superb for reconnaissance work. Humber armored car, the most produced heavy car. The Humber was reliably built and served in large numbers on nearly every front, often working alongside lighter Daimlers in recon formations. Humber Light Reconnaissance Car, LRC, compact patrol vehicle. Designed for patrol and liaison tasks, the LRC offered light protection for 2 crewmen and proved ideal for scouting missions close to the front. AEC armored car, truck-derived firepower. The AEC vehicle, based on a Matador truck chassis, sometimes mounted a 75mm gun in later marks, giving it significant offensive capability for larger-scale engagements. Standard Beaverette, an emergency armored solution. Built on civilian car chassis in 1940 as a stopgap for home defense, the Beaverette represents improvisation at a time of severe shortage. Daimler Scout Car Dingo, indispensable compact scout. The Dingo's agility and four-wheel steering made it an essential small reconnaissance vehicle that could operate in tight terrain with remarkable responsiveness. Humber Scout Car, a larger Dingo. Offering more internal room and greater crew comfort, the Humber Scout was less nimble than the Dingo, but better suited for extended patrol duties. Morris Light Reconnaissance Car, LRC, Early Angled Armor Scout. With its angled protection and open top, the Morris LRC saw widespread early use, notably in North Africa and Italy. Guy Armored Car, an early war workhorse. One of Britain's initial mass-produced armored cars, the Guy helped provide a production base that later evolved into the Humber series. Lanchester Armored Car, an interwar holdover. Dating from the 1920s, the Lanchesters still saw service in early conflicts, notably in Far Eastern theaters, conducting convoy protection and patrol tasks. Now we move on to carriers. Universal Carrier, Bren Gun Carrier, the ubiquitous tracked workhorse. Produced in the thousands, Universals performed myriad roles. Troop transport, towing light guns, carrying stores, essentially the Army's universal tracked vehicle. Wasp, flamethrower variant of the Universal. This conversion installed a Ronson flamethrower on the carrier, making it highly effective for clearing bunkers and fortified positions. Lloyd Carrier, a capable tow vehicle. Often used for towing 6-pounder anti-tank guns, the Lloyd had a different engine configuration but served as a stout and reliable prime mover. Windsor Carrier, lengthened Canadian variant. Built in Canada with an extended chassis, the Windsor improved load capacity and cross-country performance compared to the standard Universal. Specialist and engineering vehicles next. Churchill Avra, Aviary and Original, Armored Vehicle Royal Engineers. The Avra mounted a massive 290mm spigot mortar nicknamed the Dung Bomb or Petard, also called the dustbin launcher, essential for demolition tasks. Churchill Crocodile, a flamethrower tank. The Crocodile towed an armored fuel trailer and projected terrifying firepower. Its psychological and destructive impact in clearing bunkers was profound. Churchill ARK, Armored Ramp Carrier, a bridge-on-vehicle. The ARK drove into gaps or onto obstacles and acted as a temporary roadway so other vehicles could cross, a highly specialized engineering solution. Churchill Bobbin, Carpet Layer, the mat layer for soft ground. This vehicle unrolled heavy canvas matting to allow tracked vehicles to cross soft beaches or bogs, a vital innovation for amphibious operations like D-Day. Churchill Fascine Carrier, Ditch Filling Solution. This platform carried a large bundle of brushwood, a fascine, which could be released into anti-tank ditches to form an improvised crossing. Trucks and soft skin transporters. Bedford QL, the familiar four-wheel drive workhorse. The QL series became a readily recognized component of British logistics, used for troop movements, towing artillery, and field workshops. Bedford MW, the 1,500-weight standard truck. Widely used early in the war, the MW's simplicity and robustness made it indispensable for many general duties. Bedford OY, 3-ton general transport. The OY formed a major portion of the Army's motor transport fleet, hauling supplies and serving as a core of the supply chain. Austin K2/Y ambulance, the iconic military ambulance. Known affectionately as the K2, it evacuated and saved countless lives with its distinctive profile. Austin Tilly, light utility car. Based on civilian saloons for light duties, the Tilly was commonly used on airfields and home stations for message running and small tasks. Ford WOT2, common 1,500 weight lorry. Produced in large numbers, the WOT2 was a standard light utility with widespread use in many theaters. Ford WOT6, 3-ton 6-wheel truck. The WOT6 offered greater payload and tractive ability for heavier logistic needs across rough terrain. Morris C8 Quad, 25 PDR tractor. The Quad was the classic artillery tractor for towing the 25-pounder field gun, its compact four-wheel drive allowing it to move guns reliably. AEC Matador, medium artillery tractor. The Matador hauled heavy guns, such as the 5.5-inch, and offered robust cross-country towing performance. Scammell Pioneer, heavy recovery specialist. This large six-wheel recovery vehicle was essential for pulling bogged or damaged armor free and for heavy transport tasks. Austin K5 dependable 3-ton truck. The K5 was widely used for general cargo and complemented other manufacturers' outputs to keep supply lines moving. Finally, motorcycles. BSAM-20, the ubiquitous dispatch bike. The BSAM-20 was the most numerous British military motorcycle, noted for ruggedness if not speed, and widely used by dispatch riders and military police. Norton 16H, the veteran workhorse. The Norton 16H served alongside the BSA as a reliable, long-serving motorcycle from pre-war years into 1945. Matchless G3/L, G350, handling improved model. The Matchless introduced telescopic front forks, enhancing ride and handling and earning favor among riders. Royal Enfield WD/RE Flying Flea, airborne light bike. Tiny and parachute droppable, the Flying Flea gave airborne troops immediate, short-range mobility after landing. Excelsior Well Bike, folding airborne marvel. The Well Bike folded to fit inside parachute containers and was used by special forces and paratroopers for quick post-drop reconnaissance.